Friends, welcome back to my channel. We're going to be doing a Project 10 Pan update number 1. Really exciting. Made some good progress, made some not so good progress, so let's go ahead and get started. First thing that I've used up is my Wet n Wild Photo Focus Setting Spray. I cannot believe I have used this up. When I last saw you guys, I was up here and this is now gone. I feel like while I did like this and while it was a good setting spray, even though it's inexpensive, the fact that it didn't last more than like a month and a half, to me is not a very good deal. Because by the time you're done buying this over and over again, you may as well have just sprung for the L'Oreal one and gotten a much better price for the amount of product that you're getting, the amount of length that you'll be able to use it versus this, which is 1.5 fluid ounces. So I don't think I'll buy this again, but I did enjoy it while I had it. The other thing that I've used up is my Maybelline Color Tattoo in Rose Riot. This puppy didn't take me very long to use up either. I have been crushing color tattoos this year. This is my second one that I've threw to the ends, switched over to a color stick, which I'm not loving as much. I don't find them as easy to apply as I do the color tattoos, but better to learn now, but I'll keep playing around with it. The last thing I used up is the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. I started up here and then I used the rest of this little sample size up. This is 0.25 fluid ounces. It lasted me a good long while because you didn't need to use much of it to apply your whole face, but I'm not a big fan of this primer. It's not the best for me or my skin needs. I feel like it made more of like a slickness on my face than I wanted, so I wouldn't necessarily want to buy this again. All right, now on to the items that I have not finished. First thing I have is my Body Shop Honeycomb Matte Bronzer. Look at that. Look at that little pan. Look at that little tiny pan there. I am so thankful that I hit pan on this. I have no idea how I hit pan or why I hit pan the way I did on this. But after hitting pan, I've been trying to move more to the outer ring because that's where it's the thickest, which I think is, you know, the natural tendency to have that happen. No big deal. But now that I've gotten the satisfaction of the silver, I'm more willing to work on the kind of thicker parts of this bronzer. I will not be surprised, guys, if this takes me until December to use. I mean, it's been 3 years. I've had this almost as long as I've been on YouTube, and this thing is going nowhere fast. I also have my Wet n Wild Fergie Take on the Day Eyeshadow Primer. When I last saw you guys, I was up here, and now I'm down to here. Not very much progress on this, even though I use this all the time. I feel like I don't use very much of it when I'm using it, maybe no more than like a pea size for both of my eyelids. So I'm going to keep plugging away at this. This stuff is like glue, and I will miss it when it's gone. But they don't make it anymore, so why hold on to something that they're not going to have to be able to replenish with? I also have my NYX Wonder Pencil. I totally forgot to mark this on white paper, so I don't know how much progress I've made, but I'll tell you one thing, I am sharpening this a heck of a lot more than I had to sharpen my Cello one, because it's not nearly as thick as my Cello one was, but to me this is very effective. It is good, just as good as the Cello one, so I'm happy with it. I wasn't a big fan of it at first because I think it had kind of hardened a little bit, but now that I've sharpened it a few times, I'm getting into the creamy part of the pencil, which is pretty satisfying, and I hope that I can use this year, but I have no idea. I also have my e.l.f. Intense Ink Eyeliner. This, I think, is headed towards its final month or month and a half because I'm noticing that I'm more dependent on doing the black shadow on my line after I apply this. I won't be sad about that because this has easily lasted me close to 5 months already, and for the $3 that it cost me, that's an amazing payoff for it. So very happy with this, but I don't really know exactly how long I'll have it for. Then I have my Clinique Chubby Stick Hefty Highlighter. This is really hard to track my progress on. I drew a line and you can see that it's a very small amount of progress, but I find that I don't really apply it straight on. I apply it more like on the sides, which is why it's pretty rounded. This is all the product in here, but I feel like it's gonna take me a really long time to use this. I wouldn't necessarily buy this. I prefer the Benefit Watts Up to this. I think the Benefit Watts Up is creamier, at least when I've used it in the past, than this is. And even though I get like a pretty nice looking glow, I just am not in love with it. I really do prefer, I think, liquid highlighters compared to creams, and I prefer powders over these sort of cream sticks, but I mean, to each their own. And the last thing that I have is the Derma Blend Setting Powder. We're getting into that point in the year when I don't really need much setting powder, that it will start to accentuate parts of my face that I don't really love. But I managed to pull off the like the cap that was like filtering out the powder, because I was noticing, I don't know if you were able to tell, but it was starting to like create little tiny like pebbles of powder. And so when I would put it into the cap, I wouldn't actually have like powder, I'd have like little tiny pebbles. So I wanted to pop off the filter to be able to like go in with the end of a makeup brush and kind of like crush everything up so it would go back to a powder. I don't know if that's because it's getting old or if that like happens with setting powders. I've never really focused on using a setting powder before, but I really don't have much in here. I feel like this is probably maybe 2 weeks, maybe a little bit less than 2 weeks, but I'm ready to be done with this. I'm ready to move on from this powder and just try something different. I definitely am feeling a little bit of a rut with these products that I have left. They're not the most exciting products, and I'm trying to like spice up my eye looks, but I just feel like kind of in a little bit of a rut with the things that I'm working on right now. I just don't feel like I'm making super great progress, and I feel like I felt that way the last time I was doing this, right around this time. I think once I get like a month in, if I don't start to see really good progress, it starts to kind of bug me or something. I don't know, it's kind of weird, but that's where I'm at with these. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this stuff. If you're doing your own Project 10 pan, let me know in the comments below, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.